The International Students Office is happy to welcome you to EDHEC. We would like to share some practical information to help you prepare for your stay in France. This presentation covers different topics listed here. Accommodation. There are several important points to bear in mind. Make sure to carefully read your housing contract before signing it. It will determine the payment of your rent and the cancellation conditions. You will have to pay a deposit before arrival. It represents 1 to 2 months' rent without charges. According to the law, this amount is reimbursed within 2 months following your departure date, and it cannot be used to pay your last month's rent. On arrival, you will have to go through a check-in inventory. It consists in checking carefully your accommodation and report any damages you notice. In case you miss any damage, you still have 10 days to report it to your landlord by email if you booked through ISO, by registered mail if not. The rent usually includes charges such as water, common area cleaning, and electricity. But most of the time, electricity is an extra charge to be paid apart. It is important to know that even if the charges are included in your rent, if you overuse, you will overpay. As a reference, the regular temperature in a room in France is about 19 degrees. At the end of your stay, you will have to go through a checkout inventory. Your accommodation will be checked carefully. If the checkout matches the check-in, your deposit will be refunded. If it doesn't match, your deposit will be used to cover the repairs. According to your contract, a notice of departure of 1 to 2 months must be respected. It means that you cannot leave your accommodation whenever you want. If you signed a seasonal contract, you might not be able to cancel it before the ending date. It is mandatory to have a home insurance when renting an accommodation in France. Some residences suggest their own. If not, it is important to pick one including civil liability. You will be required to provide a home insurance certificate before checking in. We bet you already heard of CAF before. If not, it is a financial help provided by the government to help pay the rent. Everyone can apply, but not everyone is eligible. We will introduce the conditions and procedure. Eligibility mainly depends on your revenues and visa type. In fact, to be eligible, non-European students must have a visa validated by the immigration office once in France. This process is demanding and takes time. That is why it has to be completed as soon as you reach France. The step-by-step and the list of documents provided in the welcome pack will help you complete your online application. Bear in mind that it takes time to receive the first payment. Opening a bank account. Opening a French bank account can be useful, especially to pay your rent and bills, get reimbursed for your medical expenses, and apply for housing benefits. It is also necessary to renew your visa when the current one expires. The documents listed on the screen will be required to open a bank account. EDHEC partnered with different banks. They slightly have the same offer. Important to know, if you are coming to France with more than 10,000 euros in cash, you have to inform the customs at the airport. For important cash deposits, banks can require a proof to determine the source of funds. Healthcare. It is mandatory to have a health insurance during your stay in France. European students can get a European health insurance card. It is free of charge and will cover you the same way as the French healthcare system. You will be able to claim the reimbursement of your medical expenses either in France or in your home country. If for any reason you cannot get the European health insurance card, you can enroll for the French healthcare system, as will non-European students. In fact, it is mandatory for non-European students to enroll for the French healthcare system. Enrollment must be done online through Amélie Étrangère website. More details will be shared in due course. If you are a Quebec citizen planning to study abroad in France as an exchange student, you must apply for an SE 401Q106 form from RAMQ before your departure. However, if you are not an exchange student, please request the SE 401Q102 bis form. These forms allow you to have a Quebec health insurance coverage for a maximum period of 12 months while abroad. The French healthcare system will start covering you from the first day of school. Thus, we strongly advise you to take out private insurance valid for your first month in France. Please note that the French health insurance is not a travel insurance. It does not cover repatriation, civil liability, nor your travels in Europe. If you need such an insurance, you can take out a student travel insurance. As mentioned earlier, the French healthcare system covers up to 70% of your medical expenses. To get a full coverage, you can get a complementary insurance called Mutuelle. We advise you to get one if you often consult general practitioners or specialists. Visa. This section concerns non-European Union students only. We know most of you already started their visa application. You are therefore one step away to reach France. Embassies deliver different types of visa as shown on the screen. If you hold the visa displayed on the left side, you are exempt from any further administrative procedures. This visa implies that you are not allowed to work in France nor to receive the housing benefits. However, if you hold a visa showing the mention R311-36 shown in the middle of this slide, you have to validate your visa online once in France. This process can be done from your first day in France as long as you have a valid address. It must be finalized within the 3 months following your arrival in France. Finally, if you have a visa mineur scolarisé or a visa carte de séjour à solliciter, like the images you see on the right of this slide, please approach the ISO for guidance. To turn your visa onto a residence permit, you need to do the visa validation online. This process can be done from your first day in France as long as you have a valid address. It must be finalized within the 3 months following your arrival in France. Next year, students staying in France will have to renew their residence permit 2 months before the visa expiry date. ISO will inform you in due time and help you through the process. Public transportation. Both Nice and Lille have a great public transportation network. According to your needs, different offers are available from the daily ticket to the annual subscription. Please have a look at your welcome pack in order to get useful information on public transportation. You will know how to apply, the ticket prices, and you will even learn how to find the closest bicycle stations. Phone and internet. As we know it is important to you to get a good internet connection, we selected the main mobile network providers. You can subscribe to one of them either directly at their agency or online. Other providers have online offers only. If you subscribe to one of them, keep in mind that there is no physical agency to solve any issue you might have. Most apartments are equipped with an internet connection. If you have a doubt, check with your landlord. Thank you for listening. We look forward to seeing you on your campus.